All right, welcome back. This is kind of a throwaway stream. I'm kind of doing a test run right now, and I'm trying something new. I'm going to show you how I actually put a song together. I put together my first song using LMMS 1.2.0. Um, I have been using RC7, but I decided to switch over to the newest, more stable version. And so far, so good. I don't see anything. I haven't had any problems exporting. Haven't had any problems doing any of that. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to open up LMMS, okay, from wherever you choose to open it. I'm going to come over to my file up here. I'm going to go to recently opened projects and open this project. All right, so this project is the latest project I worked on. It's the first project I've worked on with 1.2.0. And see here, I have various instruments I've chosen out of my sound banks. They're all samples. I have one out of the SE guitar, um, and then I assigned everything to a mixing channel. Let's take a listen real quick. Now this is a basic bare bones. Here's the next section. Play. And then move our little white arrow over to the next section. Play.
I heard.
So I have some vocal samples that I created, and I create all my vocal samples on using a Samsung JS3 Prime. I have a double pop filter on a mic stand. This is what I use right here. I use a for all of my music so far. I'm trying to keep it as lo-fi as possible because these tutorials are for noobs. By a noob. I'm definitely not a pro, but you can make it happen if you really want to make it happen. All right, so I just go on my phone. I have a double pop filter which I actually made with a wire hanger and pantyhose. Right, so don't let lack of money hold you back when you're trying to if you want to be a producer. All right, so I created this song here. It's roughly, let's come over to here, white arrow, about 3 minutes and 47 seconds long. All right, and that's just the music. M- my music is very simple. Like I love dubstep and very complicated stuff, but I write very simple because it's not so much musically driven. It's more lyrics driven and lyrics effects because that's when I was in actual bands, that was my position in the band. I was a lyricist, and I worked on lyric effects. So that any music that I write is kind of to showcase my lyrics and my spoken word performances, right? I do have a solo section right over here, I think. Let's play that. That's not it. Solo section is right here. Okay, so now you have your music, right? You have your music, and it's exactly how you want it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here to File, right? And then we're gonna go to Export. First, we're gonna go to Save As, and I'm gonna call this. The name of the song is Renaissance, so we're gonna call it Renaissance um, YouTube tutorial. And And the biggest thing you want to be aware of is where you're going to send it, right? You want to know exactly where you're going to send it to. So I'm going to hit right now. I'm going to go to my desktop, and then I'm going to go to Renaissance Triple X, which is a folder I've already set up for this particular project. Double click that, and then I'm going to hit open, save. Okay, so first we've saved it as that name, Renaissance YouTube Tutorial. If you look up here, it's now renamed. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to export to the same location, the same file name. And we're going to export it as a WAV file and hit save. I'm going to come down here to where it says depth, and I'm going to take it to a 32-bit float, and I'm going to sync it the very slowest. All right. And then I'm going to hit export. And we're good. So the first part of the songwriting process is done before we take it over to the wave editor. Now, if you look, in the comment box below, there's a link to LMMS, and there's also a link to Audacity, right? And Audacity is a wave editor. Now, I have a trill track here. I have a main track. I have a vocal track. And let's just go ahead and open up. Let's go ahead and open up Audacity right now. So let's see, Renaissance instrumental. Renaissance. I'm looking for my triple X and I don't see it. Instrumental tutorial data. Let's open this up. That's my data file. I told you this is a crash and burn test run to see what I'm doing here. I don't see what I'm looking for here. Let me go to this one. All right, you know what? Fuck it. Let's crash and burn properly. Thought I had a separate folder for that. Let's see here. Renaissance test run trill track. And right now, this is an example of what not to do. You want to have everything. You want to have all of your, let's see, here it is. You want to have all of your locations properly set so that you're not all over the place. Because by the time you finish writing a song, you're going to have tens of separate projects, if not near 100, or hundreds. It depends on uh, how meticulous you are with each project, but you're going to have a lot of separate files that you're going to be sorting through, right? Okay, so the first one, let's go ahead and open up this, and this is Audacity. And now below, I already told you, there's a link to Audacity. I don't know what I'm working with right now, but I'm working with a pretty late model. Now right here we have this is our vocal track right here. So let's take a listen. I'm going to mute this. This is our what you call a hype track, but let's listen to the vocals. That's not my vocal. Okay. This is actually the track where I've already laid down my vocals on top of my on top of the file that we got out of, so I'm a little bit ahead of myself. Let's go to Renaissance I'm lost right now because I have, where do we go? Where do I go? Where did I go? Renaissance instrumental. That's my data file. So I'm leading by poor example, but by good example right now because you want to know exactly where all your music went. Now, the one that we just exported was called Renaissance YouTube Tutorial. All right, so that's right here. This is what we just exported right here. Okay. Renaissance YouTube tutorial. Let's see, 3:58 p.m. It is now 4:03, so that's the right file right here. All right, so this is the one we just got out of LMMS, which is cool. And I'll remember it's in Renaissance Triple X. Okay, now I'm going to come to Audacity. With a single click on Audacity. Now, this is the Wave Editor program. This is Audacity, and it's 100% free. And it's pretty reliable. I don't like to use I don't like to record into Audacity because I've had issues with it crashing on me in the past, and it's very when Audacity crashes, it fucking crashes. I'm just gonna go ahead and warn you on that. If you overload it, I've lost entire projects, and it's a really shitty feeling. So what I like to do is I like to record my vocals separately outside of Audacity. That's why I use my phone. And this isn't everybody's method. A lot of people go right into Audacity and record right along with the music. And that's cool. If you have a powerful computer, I don't think it's going to be an issue. With my computer, the computers I was working with in the past were laptops. And I'm kind of once bitten, twice shy, even though I'm working with a desktop right now. I'm still wary of recording directly into the Wave Editor program. All right, so this is Audacity, and it's nothing to do, but let's just jump right in. File, we're going to import audio. We're going to come over to Renaissance Triple X, which I just put my LMMS file in. I'm going to select that and open it up. Okay. So it looks like this. It looks pretty underwhelming, actually, in terms of files. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my selection tool, left click and drag and select this area. I'm going to come up to edit and then I'm going to come to delete, right? Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double left click over here in this blue area, right? Or I can double left click in this gray area over here. Just click on the blue area. And when it turns white, it means you've selected this entire waveform. Now you're going to come up here to effect. All right, so we're back. We got momentarily disconnected. So I'm going to click OK, right? So the file's bigger, but you see where it's clipping over here? Not necessarily clipping. You see where you have these really thin waveforms, right? They're preventing this from being amplified all the way as much as I want it to be amplified. So I'm going to come over to Effect, and then I'm going to come down here to Limiter, right? And I'm going to come to my soft clip, and I'm going to hit OK. And what it does is it brings down all those really spiked portions of your waves, right? So now I'm going to come back up to Effect. I'm going to come to Amplify, and it says 3.0. So I'm going to amplify it. I'm going to take my amplification down to 2.5. All right, and then I'm going to hit OK. And that brings it up a little bit more, but I'm still not satisfied. And whenever you're making changes, what you want to do is you want to make your changes incrementally. If you make big changes with your waves, you're going to produce some big sound changes as well, and you don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to come back to Limiter. I'm going to keep it at soft clip, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to come back to Effect, Amplify, and it's at 3.0 right here. So we're going to make it 2.5. And that looks like a nice fat wave I want to see right here. Let me take a listen. And you want to look up here. Look up here to see if you're in the green, if you're in the red, if you're in the yellow. I'm kind of maxed out. That's really loud. It's probably going to be really loud for you guys. Take this down. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is come to File, and this is in Audacity, right? We're going to come to File, Save Project As, okay, and we're going to call this Renaissance LMMS YouTube. Okay, and we're going to hit Save. Next, all right. Now after that's done saving, we're going to come back up to File and hit Export, and we're going to export this as a wave, right? We're going to convert it to an MP3 at the final, but I like to keep my stuff as waves as I'm working with it. So I'm going to export as a wave. And I'm going to hit 1 Renaissance LMMS YT. And then I'm going to take it to my desktop and my XXX right here. And open. And we're going to go ahead and save it. And then they're going to ask us to name it over here, right? Since we just made this project. So I'm going to call it KOPHI. Track title is going to be called Renaissance. Album title is going to be called just Renaissance. Track number 1, year 1, year 2019. Genre, no fucks given. And comments, YouTube tutorial. All right, so we hit OK. So now we've exported that, right? Now we can X out of it since we saved it. Save project before closing, it's going to save it. Great. So now we're going to come back to my Renaissance XXX file, and I'm going to open up my Little Kitten Renaissance Vocals Merge track. Double F kick that. Now what I did was I got my file and then I got my other vocals and I merged down my vocals again with this. I came here and edited, and I'll show you how I edit. And I made a, so let me mute this, and you're going to hear my vocals right now come in.
There's just 1/7 between organize and relax. I'll accept the facts, prepared to knuckle up when the horde attacks. Slick sons of witches want to rope and brand the way and set me.
Okay, so that's going to be a track, just my vocals. All right. But sometimes I want to strengthen my vocals. And by strengthening my vocals, it means I want to put a hype track on it where I just say certain words or key phrases. So this track down here is called a hype track. And I'm just going to say certain words or phrases over certain parts of the song that are going to just accentuate it a little bit more and give it a little bit more depth and a little bit more texture. Right? Okay, so let's go ahead and X out of this one. And I'm going to show you, we have Trill Track Renaissance right here. So I'm going to open up Audacity. I'm going to come to File, Import, Audio. I'm going to come to my desktop, and I'm going to look for my trill. I call it a trill track, but it's really a hype track. It's like if you have a hype man in the background and he's going to, you know, like P. Diddy used to do, he would say a couple words in the background. It's that. And Again, I like to work with waves up until the very end. WAV. Now this is what it looks like. And what I did was I got on my phone and I sang along with the pretty much finished product of the song. And then I added my little trills, and it sounds like this.
Picky, picky, piece, picky, picky, piece. Hey, in defense, but hey.
Okay, so that's my hype track. Now what I want to do here is clean this up because this is straight up off my telephone right here. And I don't want it to sound like that. If you look at this line here that you see going through, that's the silent areas. But this isn't 100% silent. Especially if you're a bedroom bander like myself. The stuff going on in the background is going to be refrigerator noise, AC noise, fan noise, people walking outside noise, right? And that's this bar that you see right here. So I'm going to single left click. I'm going to find an area that just has that dead noise here. I'm going to single left click. I'm going to drag this over. Then I'm going to come to my effect. Then I'm going to come to noise reduction. Then I'm going to get noise profile, which means that this is the part, anytime that this wave editor sees this, it's going to augment this. It's going to choose this. Now I'm going to go over to somewhere in this area here, single left click, select this entire track. Then I'm going to come back up to effect. Then I'm going to go to noise reduction, or you can hit repeat noise reduction, but let me come down here to noise reduction and then hit OK. And if you notice, that line got really thin, right? And that means that all that excess noise, it kind of got rid of that. So now it's going to be a cleaner sound. All right. Now I'm looking over here and I see that I'm just looking at the size of these particular waves, and they're different. And I want this to be in the background. I don't want this to be, I don't want this to, I already have too greatly to where it's going to clip out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to these larger areas right here. And this is something that you're going to have to play with yourself. I'm just telling you one way to do it. I'm going to go to Amplify, and I'm going to go take my amplification down to -2. Hit enter. You see how that waveform shrunk? Very good. So we're going to go to Effect, Repeat Amplify. I'm going to come over here, do the same thing. Repeat Amplify. I'm going to come over here to this one. I'm going to hit Effect, Repeat Amplify. And I'm just going to shrink all these waveforms down till they're all about the same size. Effect, Repeat Amplify. And then I'm going to do it again. So I want all these to roughly be around the same size, okay, for my background chill track. All right. And I don't need to save this. Next, we're going to come back to this. We're going to open up the vocals merge, is what I called it. Open up the vocals merge, and then I imported my trill track, right, from wherever I'm going to export it to after I'm done with it, or my hype track, excuse me. So now we have, and let me show you how a hype track can actually enhance a song. I'm going to mute it, come over here. I'm going to hit mute. I'm going to mute this track. I'm going to come up here, and you can, as soon as you left click on it, it's going to start playing. So let's play this part.
Do you miss me? Yeah, well, do you miss me? Do you miss me yet? I heard. Do you miss me yet? Well, do you miss?
Okay, so that's without my trill track. Now I'm going to add my hype track. Excuse me. I always call it that. Let's unmute and hit play, and it's going to sound a little bit different.
I heard. Do you miss me? Yeah, well, do you miss me? Do you miss me yet? I heard. Do you miss me yet? Well, do you miss me? Do you miss me yet?
So you can see the difference. You add a little bit of texture and it gives it some more depth. Over here, I'm going to mute. I'm going to hit play.
I can feel you as if you were my phantom limb.
Okay, and now we're going to unmute the hype track. And actually, let me go ahead and mute the main track. So we'll just listen to the hype track. And it's not very loud at all, but it's just enough to give you texture in the background.
I can feel you as if you were my phantom limb.
Okay, so that's my hype track. Now we're going to unmute it all and play it together.
I can feel you as if you were my phantom limb.
All right, so you have a little bit of texture to it now. All right, so now this is the final product. Okay, first we created it in LMMS, then we put down our main vocals. Then after we put down our main vocals, then we put down our hype track. So now we're going to rename this file. We're going to save the project as OK. And we're going to call this Renaissance. Like a Botticelli, famous painter Botticelli. And now we're going to hit export. This time we're going to export it as an MP3. Every other time I'm going to export everything that I do as a wave. And especially if you're making sound samples for LMMS, LMMS does not read MP3s, not at this point in time. As far as I know, it reads waves if you're going to make a sample. So if you're making your own vocal samples, export it as a wave. But in my finished product, I want an MP3. So I'm going to export it as an MP3. And it's not going to let you export and save as the same thing if you go into the same file. So I'm just going to put one in front of it. And then I'm going to hit save. And then we have all our information here, right? And over here, I'm going to hit track title is Renaissance. And then it's going to be Renaissance, LAB, like a Botticelli. All right. Okay. Now we wait for that to export. Now it's exported. That is cool. But I've forgotten where I saved it to. And always be aware to remember where you're saving it to or where you're exporting it to. So I'm going to hit export again. Export as MP3, follow the same, and then it's going to save it to my Renaissance XXX. So that's exactly where I wanted, so I'm going to cancel it. Now I'm going to X out of this. Save project before closing. Yes, always save your project before closing. All right, so now we have, should be renamed. We should have, okay, one Renaissance LAB. We just created it. 421. It's 422 right now. Okay. Now we need to reopen it in Audacity because I want to see what it sounds like. I want to hear what it sounds like. Okay. So let's come back over to Audacity. And this is going to be our final product for the most part. You know, this is where we listen to it and tweak it out. I'm kind of disappointed with this project because when I play it on a normal speaker, like when I play it on my car speaker, it's okay. But when I play it on like a Bluetooth speaker, it doesn't sound it. I only hear the percussion and I only hear my voice. The low end is really, really low, and the bass is really, really low. So I'm still trying to figure out how to work through that. Like I said, I'm a noob, and I'm teaching noobs who are 100% new to this what's going on. All right. So now we're going to import the audio we've just created from this Renaissance XXX. Renaissance 1, LAB, and we're going to open it up. All right. Now, here's what's important. Anytime you see these little red lines, the little red lines mean it's clipping out. Now, if you have music on your computer and you go to import like a random song, let me show you. Let me show you. I have a playlist here. I've got Attila Hate Me, right? So I'm gonna go to my PL. All right, let's come back to Audacity. We're gonna go to File. We're gonna go to Import Audio. I'm gonna come to my desktop, my playlist, open that up, come to Attila Hate Me Official. Okay, and then we're gonna open that up in here. Sweet bejesus. Like if and I got this off of YouTube. If you get this off of like iTunes, you're gonna get a lot of that red. And the red means that it's not good for your speakers. And this is pretty tame. I thought it was gonna be all red because Attila they're pretty much into screaming and a lot of heavy distortion. And the way you check this, I don't think fresh out of the box, you're gonna get this feature. So you go to view, and then I think it says all right, so we're back. I don't know what happened. So if you click that, you're never gonna get those red lines. All right. But if you enable that, you're gonna see the red lines and you're gonna see what you want to do. Now, this is where it comes down to your own production choice. These little bit of red lines right here, that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that little clipping, I can live with that. I'm cool with it. This right here, you might want to take this track down. If you can't live with it, there are a couple things you can do. First, I'm going to select this track here with that single left click over here in this blue area over here. And I'm going to hit edit duplicate. And then I'm going to hit, and you can just single left click anywhere outside of the box to unselect. Then I'm going to hit select again, and I'm going to hit edit and duplicate. Now let's rename this. This one's going to stay Renaissance. This one we're going to call limiter. Right? Okay. And this third one we're going to call, we're going to rename it. We're going to call it Amplify. And what I did there was I came over to here with this little arrow to give me my menu, my drop-down menu. This little arrow right here to give me my drop-down menu. Okay, so for the first track, we're going to leave it alone. I'm going to select this middle track right here, and it's called limiter. So I'm going to come up to my effect. I'm going to come to my limiter. I'm going to go with a soft clip. I don't want it to change it too crazy. And then I'm going to hit OK. Soft clip and hit OK. Now, if you notice, those little red lines have disappeared, but also the waves, the amplification has come down as well. All right, and we will come down to Amplify. Select these waveforms right here on the bottom in the Amplify, come to Effect, Amplify, and I'm going to take the amplification down to a -1. All right. And hit enter. And if you notice, those red lines are gone here too. All right, so it's not clipping out here either. Now I want to take a listen to all three of these tracks and see which one I like the best. So I'm going to mute, I'm going to solo. I'm going to hit solo right up here and just play.
7 between organize and relax. I'll accept the facts, prepared to knuckle up when the horde attacks.
And you're going to look up here to see where it's green, yellow, and red.
prepared to knuckle up when the horde attacks. Slick sons of witches want to rope and brand the buey.
All right, so that sounds cool. I don't have a problem with that right now. Now I'm going to solo this. Take a listen.
The facts prepared to knuckle up when the horde attacks. Slick sons of witches want to rope and brand the buey and send me head first without a jury into judgment day.
And again, I'm not giving you guys the evil eye. I'm looking up here to see where it's getting green, red, and yellow right here.
Into judgment day and tried with a rigged debate and locked away. Piggy peace, Miranda.
Now with the limiter, it got rid of the spikes. And just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to come over here to effect and I'm going to amplify it. And I'm going to amplify it to 2.5. Because it's at 3. I'm going to move it down 0.5 is what I'm doing. Whatever the value is, it's not going to, 2.5 isn't set in stone. So if it was at 4.5, I would have made it 4. If it was at 4.75, I would have made it 4.25. So that's what I did there. Let's go ahead and amplify it. Okay, so now it's louder, but it's going to sound a little bit different because the clipping's taken away, but it's going to increase my my low end. Now let's take a listen.
Of witches want to rope and brand the buey and send me head first without a jury into judgment day and tried with a rigged debate and locked away. Piggy peace, Miranda. I have a lot to say.
Now I don't like that because I don't like the way the T's and the S's are sounding when I do that, right? So far, this first track right here is still my favorite. Now let's come down to Amplify. Solo this one.
Want to rope and brand the buey and send me head first without a jury into judgment day and tried with a rigged debate and locked away. Piggy peace, Miranda. I have a lot to say.
Okay. Now let me come back up to here. Listen to my T's and my S's.
And send me head first without a jury into judgment day and tried with a rigged debate.
Okay, so I don't like this one anymore. That's just too much. So the one that I do like is the Amplify, where I just took down the amplification 1.5. That one sounds good to me.
Rope and brand the buey and send me head first without a jury into judgment day and try.
Actually, I may have made a little boo-boo. Yeah, I did make a boo-boo. Let's we're just gonna solo this top one. Now let's see, because if you forget to mute your other tracks, it's gonna compound and sound like dog shit. All right, let's try it again.
To rope and brand the buey and send me head first without it.
Yeah, I knew that was the one I liked. And we're gonna come down to here. We're gonna solo just this bottom track. Take a listen.
Witches want to rope and brand the buey and send me head first without a jury into judgment day.
It's a little bit too low, and I want it to be as loud as possible when it hits those speakers without actually causing damage to my speakers and without clipping out. So I can actually live with I can actually live with the top one, the top version. It's going to clip out slightly a little bit, but if you're not accustomed to coming into your music editor and editing every song that you get that you play on your speakers or through the radio, this is fine. This is fine because the songs that you're gonna get like out of iTunes are gonna be fucking loud. Like if you bring those songs into Audacity, you'll see like a lot of them are just straight up all red. A lot of musicians don't even care. They just want as loud as possible. All right, so the final step, we have our song here, One Renaissance LAB. We're going to hit File. We're going to hit Export. Export as an MP3, and we're going to call this one Renaissance Final. I'm probably going to delete this video after I'm done. I wanted to see if I would crash and burn here, but it's like a test run. Renaissance Final. and then we go through and we put our finishing touches on it. This is what's going to show up when you transfer it to your iPod. This is what's going to show up when you transfer it to SoundCloud or to YouTube. So the artist name is going to be Kofi, Kophi. Track title is going to be Renaissance, like a Botticelli. Album title is going to be, I'm just going to call it the same thing. Just call it LAB for right now. Track number is going to be 1. Year is going to be 2019. Genre, my genre is no fucks given. And comments, YouTube. Now we hit OK. And I forgot where I exported it again. Export as MP3. And I exported it to where I'm going to go. 1 Renaissance LAB. Okay, great. Now we can X out of it. Remember to save your project before closing. And OK. And then you hit save. And we just exported it. So that's the finishing touch of how you do everything. Now we started with LMMS. We exported it. We put on our vocal tracks. I record my vocal tracks separately outside of Audacity. Then I import them into Audacity. I edit, export, create a hype track, export, import, and then do my final finishing touches and my polishing edit. And then you listen to it on whatever it is your favorite thing you like to listen to your music, in your car, your headphones, with your earbuds. And then from there, you can take it back into the studio if you're not pleased with how it sounds. I am not pleased with how it sounds on my Bluetooth speaker, right? But in the car, it sounds pretty good. And in my headphones, I like the mix. And here's the final mix. We're going to go ahead and open this up. Let's see. The final, Renaissance final. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. What should I play it on?
There's just 1/7 between organize and relax. I'll accept the facts, prepared to knuckle up when the horde attacks. Slick sons of witches want to rope and brand the way and set me head first without a jury into judgment day. And trap tried with a rigged debate and locked away. Piggy peace. Miranda, I have a lot to say. In this cesspool of slime, beauty's how I make it. Defense tactics ain't a joke, I'll fake it till I checkmate it. I heard. Do you miss me? Yeah, well, do you miss me? Do you miss me? Yeah, I heard. Do you miss me? Yeah, well, do you miss me? Do you miss me? Yeah, I can feel you as if you were my phantom limb. I can see your unique expression here in my mind. Well, I'm haunted here by your spooky stare, but I'm not scared. Your eyes are apprehensive and in defense, but curious and kind. Like a Botticelli framed for the world to see. Like a bottle of whiskey here in front of me. Like a muse gonna yank me out of apathy. Like a punk rock's chord C-E-G. Tricky succulent, a little more than a handful. Tribute substitute instead of the old scroll and pull. It's a prayer, tight palms make you want it. Tease, drop, bends. I wanna be all in it. On it.
I heard.
Do you miss me yet? Well, do you miss me? Do you miss me yet?
I heard.
Do you miss me yet? Well, do you miss me? Do you miss me yet?
Latch. Latch.
I can feel you as if you were my phantom limb. I can see your unique expression here in my mind. Well, I'm haunted here by your spooky stare, but I'm not scared. Your eyes are apprehensive and defense, but curious and kind.
All right, so that's how you can be a bedroom bender. We have LMMS, we have Audacity, and again, you can go right into Audacity if you have a microphone. I choose not to because Audacity will crash, and when it does crash, you're gonna fucking want to go postal. Because let me show you. Let me open this up. Uh, you're gonna fucking want to lose your fucking mind because you're gonna go through so many projects. You're gonna go through your data files. You're going to go through so many re-edits. You're going to go through so many days of just sitting on the song, forgetting about it. All of these files, these are all separate Audacity files, from my trill track to my separate vocals to my vocal layering. And if you go directly into Audacity without creating all these files to where you can go, okay, it crashed on me, it will fucking flatline on your ass, and it sucks. I'm telling you that shit right now. So you, at every step of the way, you want to save your separate files. And again, I like to import all of my vocals from an external source and then edit it within the sound editor. But that's just me. A lot of people don't do it that way. All right. And I think I'm probably going to delete this video. I did this to see if I would crash and burn when I'm actually in it, which it turned out pretty well, I think. But if you go down below real quick, I'm just about to exit out of here. You can go to the SoundCloud link. I put it up on SoundCloud, and there are lyrics there in SoundCloud. So if you like it, and I've also enabled it for a download if you want to download it. And you might even see it up on Reddit asking people for advice as well. All right. So this is LMMS and Audacity, creating and producing your own song. I hope this makes your life a little bit easier, and I'll see you next time.